Tanjiro Kamado arrives for his next training session, sword skills with the Mist Hashira Muichiro Tokito. He's greeted by the voice of a frustrated Demon Slayer Corps member as he quietly enters the training hall. All of the trainees were easily bested by the expressionless Tokito. The Corps members stagger to their feet and grip their wooden swords to try again, but the Mist Hashira effortlessly knocks the weapons out of their hands. Tokito remains stony-faced until he spots Tanjiro in the doorway and breaks into a big grin. They greet each other as friends. Tokito takes Tanjiro into a nearby building where he's surprised to see Kanamori from the swordsmith village. Tokito hands Tanjiro a sword to hold upright, and he launches a paper airplane at the blade. It cleanly slices the paper in two, to Tanjiro's amazement. Kanamori is on site to constantly maintain Tokito's swords for the fight to come. Sword training continues in the evening. Tokito continues to give emotionless lectures as he clocks Corps members on the hands and wrists with his wooden sword. The Mist Hashira simply wants them all to survive a demon's attack, even if he doesn't show his concern in his voice. He abruptly ends the training and leaves the dojo. One frustrated trainee asks Tanjiro to talk to Tokito about taking it a little easier on them. Tanjiro listens and gently observes that the training is probably hardest on Tokito himself, since he's shouldering the burden of teaching swordplay to all the Corps members by himself. The other trainees see his point. As they wash up from the hard day's work, another trainee says if Tokito just softened his tone a little, that alone would be a big help. Tanjiro remembers when the Mist Hashira used to be even harsher. Just then, he notices Tokito leaving the grounds on an errand. Night falls. Soft skittering can be heard across the dark streets of a village. It's the sound of more demonic eyeballs racing across rooftops. There are thousands of them! Roots climbing through the shadowy alley trace back to a figure sitting in the demon's hideout, an upper-ranked demon who plays the stringed instrument called the biwa. Through the swarming eyeballs, she sees Tokito racing along the road to his destination. Tokito finds Wind Hashira Sanemi Shinuzagawa and Serpent Hashira Obanai Iguro in the middle of combat training. They're evenly matched in power. Tokito asks to join in since he could use more training himself. Shinuzagawa and Iguro team up to take on the Mist Hashira with wooden swords in hand, and the training ground bursts in explosions of colors and dust. The three catch up when their exercise is done. Tokito mentions that Tanjiro arrived that day and that he seems fully healed. Iguro notes that he can be thorough when it's his turn to train. Tokito teaches the Corps members the next day and notices there's no sense of urgency. He tells one of the trainees that they'll be using real swords for their matchup. As Tokito faces the trembling demon slayer, however, the intimidated young man loses his nerve and collapses on the floor. The tearful demon slayer promises to work hard to get better. Tokito gently responds that he wants all of the young men to survive and lead long lives. Tanjiro smiles at his kindness. A few days later, it's Tanjiro's turn to duel Tokito. The Mist Hashira praises Tanjiro's speed as they clash with wooden swords. He shares tips on maintaining stamina as the two continue to spar. With one last powerful parry, Tokito gives Tanjiro a big smile and says he's ready to move on to the next part of training. But not the other demon slayers. They still have work to do here. Tanjiro suddenly has an idea and challenges Tokito to a paper airplane throwing contest. If he wins, Tokito has to speak a little more gently to the trainees in his care. The Mist Hashira accepts and promises to win. Everyone gathers outside and Kanamori officiates. Tanjiro and Tokito will throw their paper airplanes 10 times. If just one of Tanjiro's throws goes the farthest, he wins. Kanamori gives them a countdown and the two toss their paper planes. Tokito's plane glides serenely as Tanjiro's twists and turns into the ground. 10 times in a row. Tokito grins at his defeated opponent when another demon slayer speaks up. He wants to try too. A chorus of voices joins in. They all want to challenge the Mist Hashira. Laughter and friendly chatter fill the air as Tokito helps the demon slayers fold their paper airplanes. They throw their planes together and the sky is filled with colorful paper. Everyone smiles as they watch them soar. That evening, Tanjiro and Tokito discuss Muzan's plans. Tanjiro says that he had considered bringing Nezuko with him to keep her safe, but that might be playing into Muzan's hands. Instead, he entrusted her care to his old trainer, Urokodaki. Tanjiro and Tokito promise each other they'll defeat Muzan. Tanjiro is ready to begin training with his next instructor, Mitsuri Kanroji, the Love Hashira. And that's the end of this episode. If you want to watch more anime-explained videos, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, follow our Instagram page and join our WhatsApp group for the latest updates.